Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
All right, guys, it's time. This is normally where I do a funny beginning, but this one I can't. This one is going to be a little rough. There's a lot of stuff going on. We have some recordings that I want to share with the guys. Spencer challenged me to up the ante this year for Halloween, and I took it in stride. And I think I've really packed a punch here. And
I mean, let's be honest. It's hard to come up with anything scarier and more horrifying than these fucking debates.
Yeah. Oh, did you watch the vice presidential one?
Or SNL trying to be funny this year.
I saw a lot of things. Yes, I saw it. I saw all of it. I saw The Fly. I saw the whole fucking 9 yards.
Oh, The Fly. Yeah.
One of the funniest
Goldblum's
memes.
The Fly?
Dude,
No,
Cronenberg's The Fly?
That's
The Fly on Pence's head, and somebody did a meme where it zoomed in, and it was Jeff Goldblum. Holy shit, it was bad. And then I saw another one that showed The Fly, and it said, you know, if it lays eggs, according to Pence's own theology, he has to carry them to term.
Well, welcome to another episode of the Beacon House Podcast.
Welcome to Beacon House, mid-October.
I'm Casey.
Welcome to Beacon House.
I'm Casey.
I'm Hunter.
I'm Spence. I was waiting on you because
sorry.
He went in tandem, and you refused to go. You refused to play.
I wasn't looking.
You didn't play by the rules,
Guys, I'm going to ruin your day.
Yeah. For the listeners.
I mean, that's why we come here.
Yeah.
For being honest.
Sound check made me incredibly uncomfortable already. So.
It's I've only got 3 recordings. I told you at the beginning of the week that I found a way to like get 911 calls and like find some spooky ones, and I found one that trumped them all. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna have to do something else.
Could you use different terminology?
Sure. I found one that
Pensed him up.
I found one that really
incarcerated him for 1900 marijuana convictions and pretended like they were going to legalize marijuana.
I don't want to talk about
Don't
politics.
make it political.
Sorry,
the others were undesirables.
Anyways,
At least 37% of them.
So I found some recordings. I thought we've talked about some of these and we've never played them on here, so I thought I'll share them with you. I've not told you guys what the other two. Hunter kind of figured out what the first one is. So the first one, yeah.
I'm stoked. Just real quick before we proceed, I want to say I'm stoked because we had to kind of do a little miniature sound check here to get the levels correct, and I got to hear snippets of Casey's recordings.
You said it reminded you of your favorite Richard Lehman book.
Okay, you know what? See previous episodes, but I heard just snippets of the recordings that Casey has got, and I am super stoked. So I want to let the listeners know. Full disclosure here, we have not heard these recordings Casey's about to play. So this will be us reacting.
I'm really afraid of the last one. I feel like the last one, you guys are going to take your headphones off. Trigger warning.
Trigger warning.
Oh, come on.
This first one is not really a trigger warning. This first one...
Oh, no, just the episode.
Isn't this entire podcast a trigger warning?
Kind of.
We should have named it Trigger Warning.
Yeah. Ooh, we should have.
It's too late.
Too late now. So this first one is an interview with Edmund Kemper, known as the co-ed killer. Okay. I don't know if you know about Edmund Kemper.
Tell a little bit. Give us some.
So Kemper was known for cutting the heads off college girls.
As you do.
Right.
And then disposing of the bodies and taking the heads home and sleeping with the heads and defiling the heads. And he used to be like go to the bar all the cops hung out in and like watch the police try to like figure out who he was on the news as he was sitting there enjoying a beer, chumming it up with the police.
Shit, he's got a trunk full of heads.
And as you can hear him talk, it also, the narrator speaks just to go into detail about how he killed his mother. And you can hear his intelligence, and it's insane how brilliant this guy probably is.
How smart the guy sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go on and play this.
So this is Edwin Kemper.
Edmund
Kemper. The co-ed killer.
Interview in 1981, and this interview is from the documentary called The Killing of America, which is a documentary from 81, which is why I found it free, so it can't be monetized or demonetized. Not that we get money off
or
this
demonized.
All right, I'm going to hit play.
We're not sure.
Hopefully this plays. If there's a cut here, I apologize.
Okay.
For more. That I was losing a grasp on something that was too violent to keep inside forever. As I'm sitting there with a severed head in my hand, talking to it, or looking at it, and I'm about to go crazy, literally. I'm about to go completely flywheel loose and just fall apart. I say, wow, this is insane. And then I told myself, no, it isn't. You're saying that. And that makes it not insane. I said, I'm sane, and I'm looking at a severed... I said, well, wait a minute. That's the old paintings and drawings of Viking heroes talking to severed heads and taking them to parties, old enemies in leather bags. Part of our heritage. This is me back then in 1972 and 73. Unable to live with the fact that I just stabbed to death and cut the throat of an innocent young woman. Innocent in the sense that she did not plan on that happening. She didn't do anything specifically for that to happen to her. Yet she was a very active participant in her own death. And in my memory of that, she was 19 years old, and her roommate in the trunk who died right after that was 18. I didn't go hog wild and totally limp. What I'm saying is I found myself doing things in an attempt to make things fit together inside. I was doing sexual probings and things. I mean, in the sense of striking out and reaching out and grabbing and pulling to me, but appalled at the sense that it wasn't working. That isn't the way it's supposed to be. It isn't the way I want it. See what I'm saying? And yet during that time, I become engaged to someone who's young and is beautiful and very much the same advantages and very much the same upbringing and Disneyland values. And she's very much the reason I surrendered. I picked up two girls who were so much like the first two, it was unbelievable. Almost identical circumstances. And I let them go. Everything went towards killing them, and I didn't. But I'm saying, wow, it's uncanny. It was almost like it was meant to be that way. And I said, wow, this got to stop. And I let them out. They never even knew what was going on. I let them out. I would have gotten away with those two being murdered. I said, no, it's got to stop. And a week later, I murdered my mother. Went back to Santa Cruz and killed her.
He killed her with a hammer in her sleep, cut off her head and hands, but then put her vocal cords in the garbage disposal and threw darts at her severed head.
I am an American, and I killed Americans. I am a human being, and I killed human beings. And I did it in my society.
So that was Edmund Kemper.
And I'm assuming, give me a little bit of context on that. I'm assuming that was after he was captured and
he's in prison, and people showed up to like interview him. He loved it, by the way.
He
loved talking about it.
Psychologically analyzed.
He's a very big part in The Killing. If you've ever watched The Killing, the TV show,
I've not.
Mindhunter
Okay.
or The Killing?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mindhunter.
Okay.
Have you seen Mindhunter?
I've seen a little bit of it.
The big dude with the
mustache and the glasses.
Okay,
He's
okay.
the one that really first talked to like the FBI and like coined the phrase serial killer, and he's just as you can hear him talking, like he's just insanely intelligent, and it's creepy how comfortable he is with it.
Also how self-aware he is, how lucid he is. Like he was basically going, I just keep killing, and then I'm mortified at the fact that it isn't fixing me. Like
the thing he said about the fact that I looked at the severed head or whatever and said, this is insane, and then went, no, because you said that makes it not insane, which is the thing that people say all the time still.
Yeah.
If you can recognize that it's quote-unquote insane, then that means you're fine.
Which may be the rantings of an insane person.
Sure, but
that actually may be an insane statement, if you're holding a severed head.
Yeah, but just like that
Maybe not.
level of... Because that just bugged me because I've heard that parroted in other places over the years.
I have too.
And at the time, it's like, oh, yeah, that makes total sense. And now here's this guy going, yeah. And I looked at the head and I went, no, you're fine.
What do you think? Do you think he's crazy? If he mutters that, do you think him saying, I feel like I'm going crazy, but yet I can't be because I am still separate from the problem. I'm able to look at this objectively.
He's way too smart.
Well, I think that's what separates a psychopath from a serial killer. I don't think all serial killers are psychopaths.
So this guy falls under the term serial killer.
He's sociopath. And a serial killer.
Okay.
He's very narcissistic. He's very much, he loves the attention that it brings that he killed these people and got away with it.
But he's not batshit crazy.
It doesn't seem like it.
No, he's very with it. But that's what makes it scarier, is that he's okay with it.
Just dead on the inside.
Completely lack of empathy, or
Yeah.
just doesn't feel, kind of like Dexter is portrayed to be.
Correct.
Doesn't feel guilt or anything like that. And beyond that, probably has like deep emotional issues and tactile things that causes him to go out, and that's fucked up. They say people like that start out torturing animals.
Yeah.
Like something about, there's, I don't know if it's like
in the documentary, he talks about how he took it out on inanimate objects first, and then animals, and then he moved to people.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
That was a lot. I kind of want to go back and listen to that a lot to just hear, like, from...
Well, the documentary is called The Killing, I think it's The Killing of America.
Okay.
A 1981 documentary, and you can find it on YouTube for free.
Fuck, that was creepy.
Yeah.
What do you got next? Let's go.
That's the light stuff. So
Yeah, he's working us up.
next up, I have something. And when we listen to this,
What are you talking? This guy's holding a pile of heads. How's this the light stuff?
He's holding one head.
I'm going to say this. For this one, I want you to listen to the background more than the foreground.
Okay.
Because the background's where the terrible stuff is going on.
Okay.
And I'm going to play you guys a snippet of the Jonestown death tapes.
What are these?
I didn't know
This
that
is-
was recorded.
Yeah. Jim Jones recorded himself preaching as his flock drank cyanide-flavored Kool-Aid.
So this is the red Kool-Aid guy.
Yeah.
Okay,
This
okay.
is the drinking the Kool-Aid.
I always
coined
get
the
him
term.
mixed up with David Koresh. That was the Waco guy.
Yeah.
Waco,
Nope.
Texas.
I don't know much about Waco. I need to
Bro,
look into
my
it.
old band Still Life Opera had a song called Waco. It was about him, this crazy religious cult that tried
No.
to.
So this is the Jonestown death tapes. This is FBI number Q042, November 18th, 1978. This is right after Jim Jones sent people to the plane to kill the congressman and the camera crew. Mm-hmm. And he now knows that if he's done that, they're coming for him.
Yeah.
He's broken a law. Even if he's out of this, like, he's most wanted. Mm-hmm. He's going to be, he's in trouble.
This is near the end.
This is near the end. And if you listen to the background, you can hear people cheering and then slowly people not cheering, and you hear children crying, and you hear him talk about how, like, no, don't do that, don't do that. And people are drinking the Kool-Aid first and not doing it to their children because they just can't bear to give their children
So
poison.
what we're about to hear is the people drinking the Kool-Aid.
It's the
Yeah.
massacre.
You
Let's
hear people
do
in
it.
the background drinking the Kool-Aid.
Let's do
This
it.
is going to be
Goodness
loud, so
gracious.
just everyone brace for
I'll-
impact.
I'll-
okay.
Not to be feared. It is not to be feared. It's a friend. It's a friend.
This is him talking about cyanide being a friend.
Sitting there, show your love for one another.
Yeah, it's not good quality on its own. Sorry.
Calm. Let's get calm. Let's get calm. To us, we had nothing we could do. We can't separate ourselves from our own people. For 20 years laying in some old rotten nursing home. Taking us through all these anguish years. They took us and put us in chains, and that's nothing. There's no comparison to that, to this. And robbed us of our land, and they've taken us and driven us till we tried to find ourselves. We tried to find a new beginning, but it's too late. You can't separate yourself from your brother and your sister. No way I'm going to do it. I refuse. I don't know who fired the shot. I don't know who killed the congressman. But as far as I'm concerned, I killed him. You understand what I'm saying? I killed him. He had no business coming. I told him not to come. I would die with a degree of dignity. Lay down your life with dignity. Don't lay down with tears and agony. There's nothing to death. It's like Max said, it's just stepping over into another plane. Don't be this way. Stop this hysterics. This is not the way for people who are socialists and communists to die. No way for us to die. We must die with some dignity. Soon we'll have no choice. Now we have some choice. You think they're going to allow this to be done and allow us to get by with it? Must be insane. Children, it's just something to put you to rest. Oh, God. Mother, please. Mother, please. Don't do this. Don't do this. Put down your life with your child, but don't do this. Free at last. Keep
That's
Jesus.
Free at last. That's a pretty good note to go out on there.
Yeah. So that's the
Mother mocking the children.
What a fucking
yeah.
nutsack.
Yeah.
And like, I'm
Yikes.
wondering, all the kids crying, is that kids that are, their parents have started to pass out and like
I
lose
would assume
consciousness?
so.
or the kids are starting to feel the effects of the
Because they're
poison.
giving it to the kids. They give it to the kids too, right?
Oh, and early on in the tape, if you go back and listen to this episode, you can hear a kid convulsing in the background. Like he's like, you hear him going, like shaking.
Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. What a nut. Dude.
Let me double check on how many people died that day.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, like, what when people like there's so many people like that get people to follow them just straight down the cattle chute.
Manson.
And what's
There's
weird is
same thing.
he like everybody that joined his commune shared their wives with Jim Jones. And I don't know if you've seen a picture of Jim Jones. He's not very attractive.
Yeah, he
but
looks like Michael Moore and Trump had a baby.
But he had several kids, and the other dads took care of his children. If they came out of their wife, they had to take care of his children.
Dude.
Let's see here.
That's creepy as shit. I don't know a whole lot about that scenario, but I'm familiar with that phrase, drinking the red Kool-Aid, or everybody here's drinking the Kool-Aid, like as kind of a homage to skepticism or the lack of skepticism.
Yeah.
Just buying whatever somebody feeds you.
Groupthink.
You know what's crazy though? There was something kind of lucid about what the guy said about like dying on your own terms. Mm-hmm. Not that anything he did was right, but I could see how somebody that's just fucking hopeless and lost would like
gravitate to that.
Yeah, his words were compelling, like Hitler or somebody like that. Like people that are weak and they need a reason to follow, gravitate towards.
909 people followed him.
Shit.
Yo.
He didn't seem that compelling.
909 people died that day in Jonestown.
God.
Jesus.
All but 2 from apparent cyanide poisonings.
And that was it. What we just heard. That was the big Kool-Aid fest.
That was 909 people drinking Kool-Aid.
Shit on.
And if you go back and listen, I wanted to start right that when people started drinking, but if you go back and listen, when people cheer, it's just like a roar of cheering, and then as it goes on, people cheer, and it's just like less and less and less, and then you hear the kids crying, and it's less and less and less, and by the end of it, it's just him talking to himself. He's just talking to a bunch of dead bodies, and I can't remember if he drank the Kool-Aid or he shot himself.
Damn.
I feel like I remembered hearing he shot himself.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Whoa. That paints a pretty vivid picture.
Yeah.
Like this egomaniac.
He
this
needed to die with
egocentric.
dignity, right?
And that's still not the worst one I have.
I know.
You
That's
got
what's
something-
making me nervous.
You got something else? You got something worse than
I
that
have
for
a
us?
911 call.
Okay.
And I don't want to give any pretenses beforehand.
Yeah, don't tell
So
us
I
shit.
don't want to set
Just
it up.
hit play.
What are we at?
We're
Because
good.
this is the last one I have.
We're
I don't
good.
have anything after this. Well, I have a
Okay.
feeling that this one right here is going to spark a little bit of a conversation. I don't know if you're going to want to keep it in.
Oh, I'll keep it in.
Okay.
I'll keep
That's
it in.
clever
This-
of you. You've challenged him.
So this
I'll
is a
keep it in.
911 call.
Yep.
What's the problem, ma'am? Oh, there's some guy been checking the place out. How? Well, he went in the back. I have an apartment in the back, and he said he was looking for a guy. And he comes to my door. And, yes. And said he's looking for an apartment. So I live alone, and I'm an old lady. Where is he now, ma'am? I don't have no idea.
And that's it.
Was that? Do you know the context behind that?
Yes, I do.
Tell us what actually happened there. I mean, I'm assuming the guy was in her apartment and killed her while she was on the phone.
Yep.
So
yeah, she
tell us-
died on that phone call.
Tell us. So we literally just heard somebody die.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Tell us the context.
So apparently, like what she said is she's an old lady that lived alone in an apartment complex. She lives in the apartments in the back. And that there was a gentleman walking around the property, and she kind of reached out, was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He was like, "Oh, I'm just meeting a guy here." And what he was doing is scoping out the place.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was a serial killer or someone that like broke in, and I'm not exactly sure the context of why he was in her house, but she fell victim to whoever was roaming that area.
Dang.
It makes my skin crawl.
I will
That's
say this:
Same.
it definitely
Yeah.
sounded more real
Yeah.
than like the ones you hear in the movies that are. I guess. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm sure there are some actors who can easily summon that level of
Hysteria.
but
Yeah.
And it's the help me breathe, please. That's where I know I feel like it's very 100. It's 100% authentic.
I didn't catch that. I couldn't really make it out too well. But I mean, again,
You want me to play it again?
Well, no, the listeners can go back. You can rewind this and
Yeah.
listen to it over and over again. And I'm sure I will do the same many, many, many times. But
that's why I feel like Edmund Kemper was pretty creepy. Jonestown's pretty sad, but I came across that dispatcher call,
Right.
and everything I had found before that was just really bad and not good compared to. And that's not saying that a lady dying is good, but nothing
intensity wise.
Nothing struck a chord with me like that. Like I was shaking.
See, that would...
Yeah.
And I had chills up my spine, and I was like, my heart was racing hearing her scream, and it just like it...
The first one got me worse.
Really?
Yeah.
Edmund Kemper?
That last one didn't bother me.
That one...
Well, I've let other people listen to it, and it's been about a 50-50 thing.
Does it? The first one is the creepiest one to me, with the guy actually talking about his... Like, you get to see so weirdly inside of that man's problem, who's killed so many people and would gladly kill other people and throwing darts at their head, and yet, like, deconstructing it verbally.
Took his mom's vocal cords and put them in the garbage disposal.
Well,
Yeah.
you see, it's not even that. Like, to me, the weird thing, because people do shit like that all the time. People are so fucked up. People are absolutely depraved and crazy, and they do terrible things, and they tear each other apart, and they it's gross. It's disgusting, the level of just almost inhuman things humans do to each other all the time. But to hear them talk about it, like, most of the time somebody just goes nuts and they cut a bunch of people up and then they get thrown in. But to hear a guy talk about, I'm holding this head, that's fucked up to me. Is to hear him like have that. He seems so normal.
Yeah.
It's almost like he just woke up and he was in a serial killer's life. That's, to me, is super fucked up.
Well, and the odd symbolism of putting his mom's vocal cords in the garbage disposal. Like,
Yeah.
it was very clear that she was verbally abusive to him, and he took that power away from her.
See, you're smarter than me. Again, I didn't even think about that. I just thought he's doing all this stuff. I feel like when things get that weird, they're all random. I
Yeah.
feel like people are
No,
just...
there's a reason for serial killers and what they do.
Yeah. To put those vocal cords in the trash, I never would have thought that had anything to do with her being verbally abusive, you know?
Like severing of the head. He was very big on females' facial attractions, not their body attractions, things like that. Like he's methodical. He's a sociopath. He thinks out everything he
And
does.
it sounded
it's not
like he
random.
was also in a pretty normal, productive relationship with a young girl at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
So he was probably doing like boyfriend things.
Yeah.
He was probably like, "Hey, honey, I picked up your favorite. I got you Dunkin'."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And she was like doing his laundry, and she was like, "Why do you keep?" He's like, "Nick myself shaving again. That's why there's blood all over my
Fuck yeah.
shirt."
Why, hey, I drove your car to the store and there was a lot of stuff rolling around in the trunk. Nah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Bowling balls.
Yeah.
Baby shoes. Bottles of ketchup.
Next, I'll find an interview with Jeffrey Dahmer. That's a real. You want to talk about something that's real crazy to talk about? Is a guy that put battery acid on people's brains, trying to
Yep.
turn them into sex zombies.
Yep.
Fuck. Pun intended.
Ugh.
Listen.
Oh, Spencer.
Spencer. So I think, you know what, man, I don't think that we need to go much longer with this episode like that. I think there's a lot in this episode.
We need a palate cleanser.
Well, I think there's a lot for people to go back and listen to. So I would say drop us a line if you, how you react to these recordings.
That screaming still got me. Like I'm still like jarred from it. It affected me all day yesterday. I went to sleep last night and I just heard the screaming in my head, and I was like, I don't know. It just that the scream really stuck with me.
Hunter, what
And
about
it's-
you? Where are you at on? What was your
The last one bothers me because old lady, and also the which I don't want to get into detail on, but the apartment thing that happened to me and Libby right before we moved. I told you guys about.
Yeah,
those,
there's some crimes.
drug traffickers that got caught, but by people and not the police, and the police were called and they were watching us through our window, through their window.
That was
across
scary.
The parking lot.
Yeah. There was a lot of.
And they took off into the dark with guns and never came back. It was
That's some creepy shit.
yeah, in an apartment complex in West Knox.
Do you think they need to defund the police?
Why do we?
That's
no
not political.
politics.
That's not politics.
No politics.
No, that's not politics.
That's not politics.
37% of Americans
That's not what I meant when I said
need
palate
support
cleanser.
Mitt Romney.
I actually like this is the one. This is the one time where I wanted you guys to start singing a song, and you failed me and started talking about.
Oh, we still got
politics.
time.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
still
yeah.
got. No, not after this episode. I can't even.
No, it's inappropriate.
I can't even produce a beat after this song. Well, on a positive note,
Biden can't produce a sentence.
Oh, God. Well, dude, we're not even getting into it.
It's too late.
It's shit on both sides, man. It's shit on.
It is.
Have you heard that they canceled the next debate? I think, and it's supposed to now become virtual, but Trump refused to. So he's just going to hold a rally somewhere. So the debate's canceled, and it's just
He can't cancel the debate.
the whole thing. Oh, he refused to show up to it because
Well, good. They can
because he's got
ask-
COVID, and they don't want him to spread it. Like
Sure.
they did to the entire White
Ask
House.
Biden the questions and then just put an empty chair there, like when Clint Eastwood was at the RNC in 2008, and
my
asked
God.
the
I
empty
believe you
chair
guys
questions.
ruined my Halloween episode with politics.
We're not.
I can't believe you guys ruined my Halloween. Like
Look-
I wanted to be super spooky, and you guys ruined it with
There's
your
nothing
boring ass
scarier
Scarier than
politics.
thinking of 2021.
I can't think of anything scarier than what's happening right now. But at any rate, I know I made it, fuck politics. It's all so stupid right now anyway. It's horrible. Both sides are awful.
The points are made up. The jokes are made up and the points don't matter.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible on both sides. There's so many lies. It's horrible.
I will say watching him struggle to breathe was very creepy to me.
Pence?
No, Trump. When he got back from the hospital, he takes his mask off and he's like, and you're like, oh my God, that dude is struggling.
No,
to
he
breathe.
beat it, and we can beat it too. We don't need to be afraid.
It makes you younger, according to him.
Okay.
Anyway.
I can't believe you guys ruined my episode with politics.
Isopropyl alcohol in your veins.
Anyway.
That's not what he said.
We're going to be at Frightworks in a couple of days. You're going to hear this when you hear this episode. We will be merely 3 days away from Frightworks, Sunday the 18th, 8 p.m. Come hang out with us.
It'll be spooktacular.
It will. And drop us a line. Let us know what you thought of this episode. Also, if you recommend any other spooky recordings of serial killers, mass murders, whatever, anything that's
I can find EVPs.
Honestly, my favorite scary recording ever, and everybody's heard it, but
This
that
is
guy that
so dumb.
calls it's the guy that calls the radio station at like 2 a.m. because he was at Area 51 or whatever, and he's like, I'm reporting everything now, and they're coming for me. And he's freaking out because he thinks have you not heard this?
No.
I don't think I have.
It's petrifying. And he's talking about aliens and that he can prove everything and yada, yada, yada. But he's like, but I don't have time, so just let me say what I can because the FBI or the CIA or whoever, they're going to be at my door any minute.
See,
It might be fake, I don't know, but it was really well done either way. It's either real or perfectly executed.
one of the ones I found, but I couldn't find out if it was fake or not, was a guy calling 911, and he's very calmly telling the dispatcher how he just brutally murdered his family. And they're like, and the weapon is, he goes, I put it back in the closet. But I just wanted you to know, I'm ready to be arrested. I killed my family. I killed my wife and my kids. And they're like, the dispatcher's like, you seem very calm. And he's like, yeah, I just got kind of sick of it. And so I just ended it.
That's fucked up.
But I couldn't find out if it was fake or not. And I didn't want to bring it if it was going to be fake. But that's roaming around out there.
But there's probably a lot of scary things. And again, one of the original super fake, but seemed real things, War of the Worlds, the original broadcast, Orson Welles.
Yeah, it caused people to kill themselves.
People thought it was
With fear.
real. It was all over the radio, and they just assumed everybody would play along. But then some people really thought that we were being invaded by aliens, and they killed themselves.
Well, we were invaded by aliens, but they just wanted the sled.
I don't even know what he's talking
Rosebud?
Rosebud.
Rosebud!
Stella Rosebud.
I hate you.
Oh,